Hi, and welcome to Assessment Task 3, Nutrition Assessment NUTR 12001 by Rory Duggan, student number S02927372. Today we're going to be discussing an individual client's dietary notes and a 24-hour food recall and a 3-day food recall, and we're going to be analysing this information and discussing it in depth a little further, and also reviewing all the collated information and providing a bit of a summary there. So moving along, circumference reading for a bit more of an accurate prognosis of health range there. So that's for that. But continuing back to the body mass index scale, thanks to the Australian Dietary Guidelines of 2013, you can see here on the left where the BMI rating is, the BMI numbers. So if you're 30 and over, you're considered obese. 25 to 29.9 is overweight. 18.5 to 24.9 is healthy weight range, which what Rose was, because she is 23.37, and then less than 18.5 is you're underweight. So you can look at over the scale here, and you can see the age, so the kilograms on the side. So there's your rough 80 kilograms, and you go over to the height. And this is where Rose is, where you can see the cursor right now. So she's just inside the difference between the healthy weight range and overweight. So she's knocking on the overweight door. Now, once again, that's just the BMI. It's a general classification. So hence, that's why when we go to the waist. Moving on to the second part of the volunteer information, the number of meals consumed each day is 3. So there's 3 balanced meals a day. That's the aim for most of us. The number of snacks is consumed on a daily basis is 2, and they generally consist of nuts and fruit. So with the nuts, you're getting some of the oils and seeds needed. The fruit, things. Fruit supplementation like carbohydrates and fibre. So you're getting a bit of a blend of macro and micronutrients there. Her favourite foods is sushi. The disliked and avoided foods are saturated fatty foods. So because of her condition, she has to eat good all the time. So there's no point even, putting unnecessary amounts of saturated fatty foods into the system. Some are good, but you can get that from some cooking oils, even some particular foods. But generally, just small amounts of saturated fats are necessary for immune health and brain function, but not too much. Once again, refer to the Australian Dietary Guidelines for that amount. The reasons for avoidance is because she's just health conscious. She doesn't want to eat bad. She wants a good life and good health. So that's fair enough. She eats 14 times at home during the week, and that's with family. So that's really important right there, because you eat at home with your family, you're in a happy, healthy environment. You get to see what foods you can cook, what you're putting into those foods, what the outcome of those foods are. They're not prepared by anyone else but yourself. Takeaway, lucky to happen once a week. Generally once a month, but once a week on occasion. A little bit of consistency at times there, but generally once a month. Daily water intake is 2 litres. So that's really quite a good amount of water to have. That really can help with the detoxifying of the body, flushing out those toxins, keeping the body hydrated, and helping the nutrients to be able to be transported around the body. Other drinks consumed regularly are just tea and coffee. So she does like the occasional, the daily tea at least, and sometimes a daily coffee, but not every day. Both reasonable. Obviously, too much coffee is not a good thing, but some can be okay. No alcohol or any other sugary drinks or anything is consumed there, so she's doing quite well. So going on client history, after conducting the interview with my client, I've obtained the below information. So for most of her life, Rose's usual food consumption has been vegetables, legumes, and consistent water intake of 2 litres. Fruits are consumed individually and fruits blended with cold pressed juices. So she has a habitual routine generally of having a smoothie or a cold pressed juice in the morning. It's a great way to start the day, gets the nutrients she needs to really kick off her day and have that energy. And the system's ready for, first thing in the morning is generally ready for something like that rather than, a full breakfast or, something not necessarily that, you want to eat. Does she plan her meals and prepare the same week to week? She does, because her health condition warrants that. If she doesn't plan, she falls by the wayside. She can't afford to do that because it makes her feel really bad, makes her body feel weak and more exhausted than she normally feels. So it's important for her to be very planned and methodical in her approach. So that leads to, does she document her diet and food intake? And she does. She keeps a food diary to review and record her eating habits, how she cooked and prepared the food. So, if she cooked in certain oils, how the food was prepared, cleaned or flushed, or, is it steamed, was it fried, was it nuked in the microwave even? So if she had any issues with her health or the preparation or cooking of food, she could always look back at the diary and go, well, that didn't make me feel good. So that's a good thing to have. Besides the consistent food choices, healthy food choices, was there any choice that she can recall that was out of the normal consumption in the past week or month that wasn't necessarily a good thing to have? And she just, clearly remembered that as she had hot chips from the local fish and chip shop. She just, I guess, had that craving, but it's easy for her to remember because she's such a clean eater. So when you're a clean eater like that, you have something bad and it just doesn't agree with your system anymore because you've changed that system over time. The next question was, there are times in your life, maybe when younger, that you had consistently bad habits. And like the majority of people you ask when they're younger, they partied a bit, you go out with their friends, make poor food choices, especially after the weekends or in the tail end of the weekends, and they've just been eating high saturated fat foods that just don't work well. So why have you come for a diet history assessment? Because although I eat well, for some time, I just wanted a standard assessment to reinforce if she's on the right track. So it's always good to consult other people, particularly some diet and nutrition experts if you're always ever wondering about that. But there are tools that you can use to help with your own assessment and tracking of foods. Can you tell me about your portion sizes? Usually she would consume her main meals in a bowl of medium size, slightly bigger than the hand. So, general rule of thumb is supposed to be in the palm, and the fingers around the hand of the palm is sort of your additionals. So it shouldn't be too big because your stomach's not that big. It can stretch, but it's not generally that big. So here's my client's 24-hour food recall. There's some digestive powder that she has, a diatomaceous earth, in the morning with the vitamin and autoimmune herbs. So that's for a condition. There's eggs on spelt bread, so that's gluten-free bread, complementing with some, vegetables there like rocket and avocado, which is good fats. Avocado's great fats. There's balance of fruit, vegetable stir fries, cooked in ghee oil, so that's really good. some of her movement. Oh, there you go. You got a cold pressed juice, apple and carrot in the afternoon. So that's a good little energy hit right there. 2 sugar-free chocolate. So if that's sugar-free, 25 grams is not too much. You can see the water there. It's Kangen electrolyzed water, which kills all toxins and free radicals in the water. So it's actually really clean, good water. You can see here underneath the snapshot of the dietary guidelines. So vegetables, legumes and beans. She's got 5 out of 5 servings there. Fruit is well over 5 out of only the 2 required per day. The grains, that's the low end. That's the 1 out of the 6. So grains obviously wasn't her, it's not her thing. So that's understandable. Lean meat, fish, poultry and eggs. 1 to 1.2 out of 2.5 servings. So yeah, that could come up a little bit, but she generally stays away from meat. She has to find it from other sources. And then you got milk, yogurt, cheese. There's low intake there, but just enough to supplement close to the requirements. And discretionary was the 3 out of 2. So the chocolate, the coffee. So that's a bit of a snapshot there of the 24-hour food recall. That can be hard to memorise, but in this case, she's got her diary, so it's quite easy. Now, the client's 3-day food record. So this is the combination. I've used the combination of colours here, and if you look in the yellow, there's the physical representation. Recommended serves of vegetables in green. Discretionary foods in the darker green. Fruits in the purple or pink colour. Grains in the goldish colour. Lean meats, fish and poultry in the grey. Milk, yogurts and cheeses in the red, and the water is in that nice blue. So if we look around, you can see a fair spread of the colours. The physical representation is just like where she might be at the time. In this case, she's had a red apple, 1 apple, while she's doing a light walk. In the morning, it was a cup of tea, relaxed at home before probably walking the kids to school. Feeling tired and needed a boost. That was an afternoon coffee with an almond milk there for a bit of a hit. But then you'd see salads, vegetable servings here. It's only 3 out of 5 there. Just discretionary foods, only the 2 with the herbal tea and the coffee. Fruits has exceeded its daily requirement, so that's good. But the grains, 1 out of 6 again, so that's not very good. But that's once again understandable because of her condition. Her lean meat, fish, veggies. Lean meat, fish, eggs, and poultry. There's only that one little bit there with the nuts and almonds and sunflower seeds. So it's only a small dose there. The milk, yogurt, and cheese is a very small dose there, so that could be upped a little bit too. But the water, 2 litres, like clockwork. Same again with this one, 2 litres, like clockwork. A little bit more of a better balance here with the milk and cheese on this day. The gluten-free pancakes, the almond milk. That's just up there with the requirements. Lean meat, fish and eggs is just non-existent here. So the omegas, the proteins that you get from the omegas that you get from the fish, but the proteins you get from the meat and the eggs. Even the fish, you get protein from that, but there's none here in this particular day. So that definitely needs to be consistent. Because obviously for brain health, protein for muscle, you need the muscle to help support the bones. So hence you need good milk and cheese to supply the calcium that you need. You can see here, fruit's just a little bit low, same with the veggies. And once again, the grains definitely down low, but that's once again understandable considering the condition. Day 3, only slight change, only a little bit more of a change there. Physical representation is similar. The recommended servings of vegetables here is actually really good. So you've got your 5 out of 5 there. 2 litres of water, very consistent. The grains and breads are up a little bit on this day. So with the gluten-free toast, there was 2 bits of those toasts, so that's 2 serves. So that's a little bit better. So that's a good thing. Fruits though, they're just non-existent on this day. So fruits, there's got to be that balance of everything. Even if your servings are low, try and get a little bit of each rather than none at all, because obviously fruits are very good for energy. They've got the properties of good fibre. Good for the system. Lean meats. There's actually fish, eggs, nuts. Like you got your tuna salad, you got your eggs here. There's even tofu. So you got well and truly covered in this day for your protein levels, which is great. And the milk, again, yogurt and cheese. So your dairy is just there if you consider that. The coconut milk and the coconut cream in the vegetable curry. That's 2 serves out of 2.5. So you're almost there, but that's at least some form of calcium as well. But you do get that extra calcium through broccoli and your carrots. So, the client's diet review. Some issues I encountered with the collection of information of the 24-hour food recall and 3-day food record was obtaining specific accuracy with exact measurements, except for water consumption of each food type, such as calories or kilojoules. Although my client kept a food diary, it was measured in general terms such as a bowl or an estimation of millilitres and grams. There will be a need to improve at identifying the measurements of food items cooked at home, prepared, and of packet food sources by reading and analysing the nutritional information on the back of the packet. The fruit has a misleading health star rating that is issued by the Australian government, advising the consumer briefly that the initial health value is a general rated score that reflects some of the Australian dietary guidelines, which can trap the consumer into thinking it's healthier than it really is. So therefore, you need to read the detailed information on the back, which is a better approach to understanding what you're putting into your body. Additional food measurements can also be obtained through the control of My Weight app. My client was determined to be at a greater risk of chronic disease in her age, height and weight range. This was predetermined via a waist measurement after conducting a body mass index calculation. Additionally, this calorie counter app helped reduce the weight by giving you progressive updates and advising the amount of fat, carbs, and saturated fats that were being consumed throughout the day. It also has a barcode scanner to record tracking. An ability to give you, when you have more time to cook, you can log whole recipes easily using the ingredients. That is to believe which is what I believe be a great future tool for further recording and accountability to reducing the negative consumption within the body. My client's intake of macronutrients, carbohydrates, fats and proteins in her health food recall seems sparse, but with not much lean meat, poultry, eggs or fish. Although it was a minimum intake of macronutrients, my client consumed enough servings of fruit containing carbohydrates to help boost her daily requirements. My client could consume more lean meats or higher amounts of leafy greens to help provide more iron supplementation. Leafy greens could be the better option for more bioavailability. The macronutrients, fruits and vegetables consumed by my client were just above the daily requirements, with only 3 out of 5 total servings a day for the 2 out of 3 days recorded, meaning more is needed on a consistent level. This will enhance the uptake of calcium, folate, iron, vitamins B6, B12 and vitamin C, vitamin E and zinc. Fruit intake could also be improved by incorporating it into morning juices and smoothies. Grains and breads were very low because of my client's lack of tolerance, which caused negative effects. Alternatively, some specific meals containing broccoli and carrots can help provide enough fibre to nourish digestive function and reduce the chances of prostate issues later in life. Dairy consumption for my client was adequate with the inclusion of coconut yogurt and almond milk, along with a healthy consumption of leafy greens. Getting the required amounts of calcium will help to reduce the chances of osteoporosis and debilitating arthritis. The total water consumption of 2 litres a day is decent, but I would encourage 3 litres a day to allow for limited access issues, preoccupied with family, but more importantly to help flush toxins out of the body. Overall, my client is on the right path with her health, but could make those food adjustments a lot more positive by her diet, by adopting the Control My Weight app to closely monitor food intake and food preparation skills. This will help to reduce her waistline and bring her BMI score down. Extra water and more fruits will also help with the shortfalls. This will be a focus also. My client will keep her diary documentation going, as well as reading more labels in depth. Thank you.